We are recording. Okay. So, welcome to Forge podcast tonight. I'm your host, the Wild Man. With me as always.
I'm DJTL. Hey man, we got our first interview. We are stoked as hell. The first interview, we're gonna
I'm
throw it out.
excited, man. You
And
grew up
it's
with them. I worked with them.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I grew up with them. I don't know, about 15 years old. Real close friend of mine. He inspired the hell out of me my whole life. And come to find out, years down the road, he knows you.
He was myrtleizing people with his rhymes back when I knew. Didn't let him cut the grass, but he was murderized. Let me tell you.
All right, so folks, we're gonna bring on our first guest.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine, Will. Will, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, brothers? It's a pleasure. It's an honor. I appreciate you all inviting me up here to, share the space with you guys. And I'm just here to build.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what our whole podcast is about. We've informed you about this prior to the interview, so you got a good idea what our podcast is about. Motivation, inspiration, and just lifting other people up, man, and telling each other our success stories and how we obtain those success stories, how we aim for our goals and all the above. So let's start off with the first question, man. So what do you do for a living, man? What are you up to these days?
So basically, I am a nurse, and I'm also a holistic practitioner. Um,
Okay.
so those are both two avenues. So it's basically Eastern medicine and Western medicine.
So that's your
Um,
livelihood, right?
right. So anybody doesn't know what a holistic practitioner is, I'm basically a doctor. Um, and the definition of doctor is just a teacher, somebody who teaches people about things. So in the state of Virginia, I can't refer to myself as a doctor. I have to call myself a practitioner.
Okay.
But basically the difference is that I treat people holistically, which means that I can't prescribe you with medication or any form of drugs that you can get from the pharmacy or anything like that. And so I chose both fields so that I can know both sides of the spectrum to be able to make
Yeah.
It's a
a,
smart move.
a good decision for patients or clients and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So
Interesting, man. Interesting. I know you always had it in you, bro, to become and do whatever you want. You always had that drive, and you always motivated me. And to give a little insight on that, I've had many stints of working out. They don't usually last too long, you know. I usually either just end up quitting, or I end up, life hits me in the face and I got to deal with other things, or just, I just run out of juice. But um, through these times when you have workout partners and whatnot. There was one stint when I had a workout partner, and it was Will. You come pick me up. You remember that? You used to pick
yeah,
me up in your Honda, and we would go to Bailey,
absolutely.
and we would get it in. And
Why you gotta say it like that? Yonda.
the Honda,
I mean, hey, the Honda was the joint back in the
yeah,
day.
yeah, all treble, no bass. You remember that, right? Because we needed to hear what those lyrics were saying, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest, like no one has ever lifted me to that point in working out. No one has got me to that push. The things he was telling me, the things
Mhm.
that we would talk about, they would inspire each other on the way to the gym, on the way back from the gym. But it was a regiment that worked for me, and because it was, this dude right here inspired the crap out of me. So,
Will, what made you choose that direction of going? Because from what I remember when you were younger, that wasn't even that was nowhere to be heard of. So what changed your mind to go towards that?
um, I mean, I always had it.
Okay.
I never really talked about it. But you know, this is unknown information.
Oh,
So my mom caught cancer, breast
mhm.
cancer. And I believe that I healed her breast cancer, not with herbs, not with nutrition, not with anything, with
Mhm.
just straight energy, and just from me healing with, starting my journey with healing
Okay.
uh, medicine. It started off with energy, and it branched off into other things because at that point, people really didn't believe in energetic healing. They needed to, people need material. They need something to touch and hold and
Yep.
feel. And they want to be a part of something. So,
Hmm.
so from that point on, I didn't know what had happened in that point in my life, and I
Okay.
never talked about this. Ray doesn't even know about this. So,
Hey man, let's
um,
keep it 100. That's what we like to do on this podcast,
uh,
man. And we appreciate you opening up like this, and it creates for good content. And we
absolutely.
do appreciate you, man. We do appreciate you.
So as I appreciate you, and so my mom, this happened, and I put my hands like over her,
Hmm.
the area where she had cancer and stuff like that, and I would just sit there for hours. And she went to her next appointment, and the doctor didn't understand or know what to say about it because the cancer was gone. I didn't know what happened at
Hmm.
that point, had no idea what went on. But as I went older and I started to learn different things about energy, I figured out what I did. So that's
Like,
when I started to know, because I always wanted to help people
hmm.
either way. I mean, younger, I would, we would we would roast each other pretty hard, we
Yeah,
would roast each other pretty good. And it
Yeah.
was all about fun. It was all about, the journey and getting past that point in life. But I just found out that I like to help people. I got a satisfaction out of helping people. So that's the journey that I went. So I wanted to know both sides of medicine, because a lot of holistic people down the Western medicine, and a lot of the Western medicine people down the holistic people.
Hmm.
So I
yeah.
going both sides of the spectrum without becoming an MD on the Western side of medicine, but going the full length on the Eastern side of medicine. But I still work hand in hand with doctors, and I've seen a lot of things, and I know a lot of things about Western medicine. So, what made me go there is just a passion to really want to just help people,
All
help
right.
people get out of that hole.
That's exactly where we're at on this podcast, man. And it's funny because you went your way, I went my way. We obviously live far apart now, so we don't have much room for getting together and hanging out. But it's cool to see that you've come full circle and I've come full circle, and we're doing it differently, but we're doing it. We're doing the same thing here, man. We got the same goals in mind, and we're doing different activities. We taking on different jobs and stuff like that, and it's just cool to see you flourish, man. It's cool to see you get out there
It's
and
all
do
about
things
the
like that.
journey. It's all
Yeah,
about the journey, brother. It's all about
absolutely.
respecting other people's journey. You know what I mean? And hats off to you. You know what I mean, for doing what you've done. You have definitely learned, your craft in music, which I knew that you had a craft in music from early age. When we would freestyle on the porch all the time, and we say, hey man, go ahead. Other people who really didn't do it that much, we would tell them to go ahead and get in there. And that wasn't your bag, but
Yeah.
your bag was in
Well, you
other
know
areas.
what? I never backed down from a
Absolutely not.
I always
Never
got
did.
right in there. I always got right in there.
Sure did.
Yeah, the infamous
You
spike.
sure did.
You remember
You
the
sure
infamous
did.
spike? All right. So we touched down on music a little bit, and that's another thing that you influenced me with throughout the years. I mean, we always kind of collaborated anyway with music, and in our circle of friends, we were always into music, and we were always kind of into the same genres and stuff like that too. Um, Talk about your journey about music and where you are with that today.
So my journey with music started when I was about 14, 15, when me and Ray started to come together. Freestyle all the time, rhyme all the time, do a lot of things. I would battle a lot of people. I would go to a lot of open mics. I started building with Hassan, that you guys might know of, in Rochester. I'm from Rochester, by the way. I live in Virginia. So I started building with Hassan, C Clip, a lot of the big people. Back then, I don't know what's going on right now on that scene.
Well,
Um,
Hassan's pretty well known still around here.
okay, okay.
I think he
Um,
always will be.
Absolutely. So basically, music was an outlet for me, you know, because I've been through a lot in my life, and you know, rather than capsulizing it and just holding it inside, which is why men have a shorter life expectancy than women. We'll talk about that another time. I want, you know, I wanted to find a way to let it out. I also wanted to find a way to talk about the things that I want to talk about without people's input or without their opinion, so that I can just say what I want to say, and you don't have a say right now. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
that's kind of what I want to do. You know, what I've done with music and all the information. I read a lot of books. You know, there's a goal that I set for myself each day, and the goal is simple. And the goal is to learn something new each day. It can be, you know, my son teaching me that he doesn't like something that I do with him, or, you know, something small to something big. You know, each
Yeah,
piece is.
we
is
preach that a lot on this podcast.
yeah,
You know, expand your horizons. You know, learn something new every day. Set a new goal every day. That's kind of where we're at with the podcast. And we, you know, we're about lifting people up. So um,
absolutely.
we know it's important that you can't just stay complacent. You can't just. There's never going to be no growth. There's never going to be no new people in your life unless you get out there and you network, you learn, and again,
Yeah,
that was something that you inspired me to do too. So, you
right.
know, this is stuff you might not know, but you know, now down the road, you do know this, and I'm sure it's mutual. You know, I'm sure that I've inspired you in some ways, but
Yeah,
and that's what we want to do on this podcast. And me and you have spoke, and Brandon have spoke. Wild Man over here, we spoke about possibly bringing you on in future episodes, and even maybe having a segment with you, you know, once every 2 weeks or so. So we're looking forward to that too. You know,
yeah,
depending on what the episode's topic is and things like that, we're gonna get in there. We're gonna grind it up. We're gonna mix it all together, and we're gonna create some knowledge for these people that are listening. So,
yeah, absolutely. Hold on, just one more thing.
yep.
Where I'm at with music now. So I released an album in August.
Yep.
It's on all platforms. You can check it out. It's called Lots to Say. My rap name is Hafiz. It's Hafiz and FYI at the end of it. Hafiz stands for lyric poet. It's Arabic. And so I just released the album. So I have three definite projects dropping this year. I have a solo project dropping and two collaboration projects dropping, maybe a fourth, but those are definitely going to be coming out this year. So that's where
Absolutely.
I'm.
All right.
And you can find that on Spotify because I've been listening to it on Spotify ever since the drop. I'll throw it on occasionally. And what I'll do for you is I'll copy the link. I'll put it on our page, and
You're right under the
yeah,
interview.
we'll pull it
Yeah,
up for you.
yeah.
So we'll get into the music talks, you know, throughout our future podcasts and talks like that. But you also wrote a book recently. I got it right here. I was one of the first to buy that piece. You know, I had to go out and support my brother. I will confess I only have read half, but he says the better half is at the end. So I'll be reading that possibly tonight. I'll be getting into that tonight. But why don't you tell us about your inspirations about writing and how this came about?
So you know, writing goes into music. Music takes a lot of writing, and you know, I just have a lot of information. I have a lot of information that I gather. Like, you know, and there's a lot of things that I want to tell people, and it's just too much. So to be completely honest with you, I wrote the book in 2 weeks. It was just a flood of information that was coming in, and I was just writing it down, writing it down, writing it down, writing it down. I kept writing, kept writing, kept writing. It's kind of like a download.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, you got to get it out there when it's in the brain. You got to get it out.
yeah, so I just kept downloading, downloading, writing, 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 and I never put it into a book. I held on to it for years. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this into a book. And then I dropped the book, and you know, it's, you know, the truth exists within, and that's I don't know, I don't even
Guide to
know.
understanding self.
A Guide to Understanding Self.
Yes.
So where can we find this book?
Amazon. You can find it on Amazon.
Amazon. I'll maybe you could hit me up with the link for that, and I'll post that as well. We'll make sure we get you plugged up.
Okay.
So we got Wild Man over here. He's in the process of writing a book.
Yeah.
The
book is done. I'm transferring it from paper to my laptop so I can find some publishers and email them.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's basically my book will crush every excuse you can come up with of why you can't do something.
Oh, that's
And
excellent.
that's as simply as I can put it out there to people. It crushes every excuse. I can't. They're null and void, with me. And I've grown. I mean, it started a little bit when we were young, when I worked with Will, when they would try to. It wasn't them. What was it? We had one guy, Richard. You remember? I think I told you about the incident with Richard.
You may have.
Oh yeah, I won't really say because it's a little racist.
All right.
It was a little racist on Richard's part.
But I mean, even since back then, you've always had a lot of drive and motivation.
Just
Always.
laughing at people when they try to cut me down. Yeah, just laughing.
Well, see, that's why this is like a perfect beginning to our interview process, because I felt the same inspiration that I feel, radiate from you when we used to hang out. And I feel that inspiration from him. He's the one that actually approached me about the podcast. This is something I always wanted to do. And during the height of the pandemic here, I'm sitting here walking in circles. So I need to find something. I can't get out. I can't DJ. You know what I mean? I have DJed a little bit here and there, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah. So when he approached me with this, I was like, green light, green light. And green lights something that I had learned from my man crush. He says I got a man crush on Matthew McConaughey. I just read Matthew McConaughey's book. It's called Green Lights. So I'm plugging this celeb on here.
Oh my God, we talk about Matthew every other.
So now with this infestation of green lights that I have, this manifestation that I have learned with green lights, I felt like this podcast was a green light. It's gassing me up to bigger, better things. And why not bring out somebody that I knew was very motivated and inspiring like yourself? So
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you very much for joining us today. This is a shorter interview. This is just kind of the introduction interview to my friend Will, to the rapper Hafiz, FYI, and to the author as well, Will. Thank you very much. And the medical practitioner. I can't forget that. Yeah. So we're gonna get together in future episodes and we're gonna chop it up. We're gonna put a spin on all these things that we were preaching here today. And I look forward to these future podcasts with you, man. I really do, man.
Me too. Y'all have a good one. Salute y'all kings, man. Love and light.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Man.
You got a message for anybody out like
any shout outs? You want to do a shout out, buddy?
Or maybe something just to tell the people.
Well, we don't gotta do no shout outs, you know what I mean? I mean, you can leave on a positive note, without the wrong, you don't know the right. So
there you go.
Right,
got to have that balance.
Absolutely, man. All right, brother. It's good talking to you. It's good seeing you. Look forward to seeing you soon, brother.
All right, man. Love and light, y'all.
All right,
later, man.